That's very nice. Good afternoon from Malaysia. I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, thank you for all the sharing that we can experience here. That's really good. We can learn a lot from other destinations. And that is the reason why we actually founded the World Tourism Network, which came from the Rebuilding Travel Initiative, as you have seen in the invitation to this event. The Rebuilding Travel Initiative was about 1 year, exactly 1 year ago, actually in Berlin. I was a member actually on that time, but I could not come because ITB was cancelled and I didn't travel to Berlin. So it was founded by Jürgen and a lot of a small amount of tourism players, I must say, but important tourism players. And the initiative has grown into members of 127 countries. And with Jürgen's initiative from all the networks that he is representing and owning, we have a huge reach actually. And everybody is supporting it. I'm really happy about this. Let me share a little bit about Malaysia now and about our chapter. Okay. Here you go. WTN Malaysia was founded in December last year. And it came actually from the idea to link our LinkedIn groups that I have done earlier, which is Rebuilding Travel, with the same thematic from World Tourism Network. And we also have Muslim travelers, which is very important for Malaysia. So we rebranded them into World Tourism Network as well. And this is the launching event. Malaysia Tourism, what is next? We had a panel discussion with tour operators, with academics, with tour guides, and all based actually on the National Tourism Policy for Malaysia, which was just before that introduced by the Honorable Tourism Minister, Datuk Sri Nancy, and our Prime Minister. The way forward for Malaysia means actually sustainable tourism, what we have found out. And I'm very happy to say, I feel this is the best way to go, because earlier the focus in Malaysia was more towards event tourism or groups only. The product augmentation strategies are a lot like ecotourism, youth tourism, cultural tourism, urban tourism, MICE, with hybrid events, coastal tourism, rural tourism. And this is also covered by Rebuilding Travel Initiative in many of the sectors. We do have here educational and training, fashion, advocacy, aviation, community tourism, cruise, cultural tourism, peace through tourism, public-private partnerships, safer tourism, tourism guides, and virtual tourism, wedding and honeymoon tourism. We do have this all here. We are joining in with several discussions, which are always in the travel news group. And some of the shares that we have in our LinkedIn groups, just recently, our tourism minister, Datuk Sri Nancy, she announced that she is very happy we have now the inter-district travel opening for the tourism sector. So it is allowed to have tourism in Malaysia, but only within the state. So people from one state, they can come to the hotel, to the zoo, to the tourism destination within the state. That is a slow opening. We can see on the right-hand side that the MATA, that is the tour operator, the Travel and Tour Association, they are asking for more help. Actually, they're asking for money. They're asking for letting their licenses be extended without certification and things like that. And the Hotel Association MA calls for united system for the tourism industry. But so far, I cannot see the real solution. And I hope our honorable guest, Datuk Musa, can help us after this. So 3 more shares from our LinkedIn groups, which is that the pandemic may allow VR to take off. Saudi Arabia says that vaccine is a must for the next Hajj. And Focus Malaysia says controlled arrivals of foreign tourists can be made possible. I'm fully on this line actually. And I have one of our partners, I found him, he has done a huge research in the Philippines and a big project from the German government for a few years. Maybe he has a chance to talk about this later. There are SOPs in place which we can actually use to have a safe opening of tourism. And this is what I would like to propose, because we need to be proactive, not only ask for money, not only ask to do something from the government. The government has to do, the government has to do everything. I think the government actually wants to open tourism. I'm quite pretty sure actually, and we must help the government to open the tourism, but open in a safe mode. So to open in a safe mode, the SOPs must be in place, and these SOPs must be followed. Now we do have various approaches. I'm a tour operator and hotel general manager by profession. I know from many of my colleagues as well, yes, they do have SOPs which they should follow, but they are not really implementing it full-heartedly, and they are not really doing it the way it should be, I feel. Like when I was a general manager, before COVID, I already put a focus on clean the button of the lift, because I don't want that anybody will get any germ or virus from there. So things like this should be more frequently. So now in Malaysia, we have a system that is a voluntary system for hotels that is valid for 3 years. And that is a physical audit that will come anytime in between, which is not enforced, which is a voluntary thing. I would like to recommend to have a safe mode to open tourism by enforcing SOPs to the tourism players. And then they can open up and can say, we want this, we want that. But they must do their part. Datuk Musa, you are the guy. Datuk Musa is representing our Tourism Malaysia, which is essentially the promotion arm of the Ministry of Tourism and Cultures and Arts in Malaysia. And he is the Deputy Director General in charge for promotion. He is really the guy who can tell us. So I would like to open the microphone to Datuk Musa and tell us more.
Unmute,
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rudolph, or we call him Rudi here in Malaysia. Sorry to disclose that to the rest of the members. Again, thank you, Rudolph. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the captain of the industries, excellencies, and dear friends all over the world. I'm very honored today. We can see a lot of friends from all over the world. I feel like I've been somewhere in either WTM London or ITB Berlin that we can see everybody. But actually, we are the same place for the last 1 year. On behalf of Tourism Malaysia, again, I would like to welcome everyone to share the information about Malaysia experience and rebuilding the tourism industry. And I would like also to congratulate WTN on your first year's anniversary today. And basically on our side, when it comes to COVID-19, after the ASEAN Tourism Forum in 2019, it was in, I still remember that, you were there in Brunei, if I'm not mistaken. At that time, COVID-19 was still in China. We already devised a plan to how to go about on this COVID-19 it was coming in from China. And it was 2020, sorry, January 2020. And we didn't know that that it will become a pandemic. And once it become a pandemic, then the whole things change. Our plan way back when COVID is still in China, basically is to go on domestic tourism, to boost our domestic tourism. And good to know that when the Department of Statistics launched the domestic tourism data way back in June 2020 on 2019 figures, we realized that domestic tourism generated a lot more than international tourism into Malaysia for the first time. Because we are really pushing, for your information, actually, way back in before 1999, we are not pushing so much on domestic tourism. But due to the Asian financial crisis in 1997, we had a two-pronged approach. One, to introduce, as you know, Malaysia Truly Asia in 1999 to the rest of the world, and to introduce Cuti-Cuti Malaysia, or holidaying in Malaysia, to the rest of Malaysian. So by attacking these two, international as well as domestic, as of 2019, we can see more than 92 billion ringgit Malaysia, or more than 20 billion US dollar actually being pumped within domestic. And as compared to about 89 billion ringgit we did for the international. Of course, we cannot ignore international tourism. And this is what we are doing now with COVID-19. We are emphasizing a lot more on to boost the domestic tourism. However, actually today is historical day as well for us, because our second movement control order lifted today. It was 3 months way back in 2020, March to June 2020. We cannot move anywhere, Rudi. We cannot move anywhere for the 3 months. And then it was reintroduced again on 13th of January because of the spikes in terms of COVID, where the figures used to be less than and only three digits, and then it went to 4 digits and four digits. And so the government introduced the MCO, what we call it, movement control orders, way back in 13th of January, and only today. Today is 5th of March, being lifted, but there's some what we call it conditional movement control order, as well as recovery movement control order. Basically, in a nutshell, we can move around. We can have, especially my sector, we can have a meeting in the hotel rooms. We can make use of these facilities. Again, like what my colleague Rudi was saying just now, the safe mode. The SOPs being really tightened. For your information, Malaysia only previously, when we introduced MCO, compoundable, for the penalty for individuals, only 1,000 ringgit. It is about $200 US maximum. If you're doing now, as of this month, it's gonna be 10,000 ringgit for individuals, or minimum 2,000 US dollar. If you more than 2,000 US dollar, or 50,000 ringgit, close to 10,000 US dollar for companies that not getting these SOPs in place, especially eateries, restaurant, and the rest. So the government now opening up, giving the especially Malaysian to travel within Malaysia, but you cannot cross state border as of now. You can travel within your state, because there are several, or 5, 6, 7 districts within the state that you can travel within. If you need to cross to other state, you need some permission from the police, and usually been given. But for essential industry, you're allowed to do so. For example, economic things, these are the things. But we are working hard to convince the government, especially the National Security Council, to allow us to for the interstate border. I think the Malaysian Association of Hotel Owners, Malaysian of Hotels, and even the tour companies and everything is looking into that we can lift this up. And what we are doing now actually is to make sure fellow Malaysians abide by the rules. And as of today, also, I can announce to everybody here that more than 80, the first round of vaccination being done. It is continuing. We are looking at about 120,000 being vaccinated per day at 600 stations throughout Malaysia. And as of now, more than 80,000 being done. And hopefully all these vaccination can be settled by month of June. Therefore, at least we are in a safe mode, and we are even feel safer if we travel all over within Malaysia. Unfortunately, our international border still being closed. However, the government recently already been in talk, talking to our neighboring countries. We are going to start off hopefully with Singapore, and there's also a discussion with Indonesia already on this, and our neighbors up north, Thailand and Brunei. So hopefully with all this, we can get it done. And again, all these safe mode SOPs will be in place. Our infection rate at the R0, as per conveyed as of I think yesterday, is about 0.87. So we need to maintain that below 1 in order for us to feel safer to move around. And again, hopefully by today, we can see some movement within Malaysia as well. And on top of domestic tourism, we are also looking into to strengthen our partnership with the private sector and to plan a collaboration and reinventing product. Just now, I think Rudi did show some of this product that we are looking at, because we can see there's no more groups traveling coming into any part of the world. It's going to be less, more FITs, and these are the things that we need to look into. We have more than 11,000 tour coaches lying idle for past 1 year. We got more than 11,000 tourist guide not doing their, guiding. And tourism employ 3.6% out of 15 million workforce in Malaysia. It's about quite a big number, and every 4 person in Malaysia, in tourism, as compared to the international every 10. We are every 4 in tourism, and these are the things that we need to really look into it. And tourism industry in Malaysia, I think the rest goes to the rest of the world, that we are the first impacted by COVID-19. We are going to be the last to recover. And by doing so, what we are doing now is we need to build up the confidence to travel to the rest of fellow Malaysians within Malaysia, as well as from international into Malaysia. That's why I think Rudi did mention as well, whereby the hotel come up with the clean and safe campaign, whereby it's like Singapore, our colleague in Singapore, the SG, the green, whereby the hotel having the infection. We have no transmission generated from hotels, none. As you can see, the spike coming in Malaysia, because what the government did, they moved into all areas, especially factories and construction areas, and start to swab every single workers. And this is why you can see the spike coming in. And now we have done thousands and millions of those. So we managed to reduce it down. So these are the things that we've been doing. For example, one factory in Selangor, one of the state, that factory alone, 4,000 people infected with COVID-19. And we managed to stop the whole thing from moving. And now with vaccination, perhaps if we can get the herd communities with that, then I think we can be okay. We can start looking to opening up. And we need to really open up the border. Again, I would agree to that, because aviation industry really need to come in. Currently, Malaysia Airlines, Malindos and the rest also impacted, but they managed to fly in and out. We are still working with Qatar, Emirates, they're coming in and out. But in a way, fortunately, because Malaysia, one of the biggest producer of rubber glove in Malaysia, airlines coming in to bring out cargoes instead of human being out of the airline. That's why we work closely in order to tell the rest of the world about Malaysia, the confidence into travel. But we put on hold a lot of our advertising efforts internationally, because this is a blackout time. We can't do much because people cannot travel. What we are doing is basically to communicate strategically, communicating with the rest of the world. telling that Malaysia is safe. We are putting this is our COVID number. We'll be transparent about it. We mentioned which are the centers, for quarantine hotel and the rest. And for that matters, we even going to vaccinate even foreigners that staying in Malaysia, those expatriates within Malaysia, and even workers in Malaysia, because we do not want only Malaysian, but the rest remain, and then the whole transmission will be there. We'll make sure everyone will go into that. And we're also enhancing our tourism promotion. The tourism board, we're still having our 33 stations abroad, and they are still moving and kicking. What they're doing basically is to enhance our efforts online in the respective area. For example, our office in Netherlands, in Frankfurt, in Europe, as well as in America and North and East Asia, still having communication, B2B presentation with the private sector of Malaysia and with the state government, that we tell them the new product that we have, what are we doing, and so forth. And I think on top of when we come to advertising, instead of normal traditional advertising on TV commercial, that kind of thing, we are moving into social media. And fortunately as well, we got several actually Insta famous or the influencers got stuck here in Malaysia during COVID. So some of those become our spokesperson in terms of food, in terms of arts and cultures in Malaysia. So I think these are the plans that we have done. And hopefully with this bubble that we are going to look into later on, perhaps with China, part of China, Indonesia, Singapore, and our neighboring Bali and Thailand, we can slowly opening up. And again, I think as what Alain was saying just now, we need to have this so-called vaccination passport. Among the ASEAN ministers during the last 2 weeks meeting, we were already talking about vaccination passport. That therefore, at least within ASEAN, we can start moving into this. We don't have any problem in terms of that. And hopefully, I think we realize airlines and even airport in Malaysia even ready to open up. And we're also telling the industry to look into the touchless mode. Now people do not want to holding a menu. They would like to go all these with QR code, with everything, contactless passport and everything. Our colleague in Singapore already been doing it, and these are the things that we need to do. And hopefully with that, we will manage to move and forward. And of course, the government also put up a fund more than close to 100 billion to support the industry, not only tourism but the rest across. For example, the wage subsidies, that kind of thing. Even moratorium in terms of loan to your excursion bus or tour coaches, just to make sure that everybody can survive. And hopefully by today, when we see that basically the MCO being lifted and we can adhere to SOP, then everything can be, at least we can start with domestic, and whatever thing good in domestic we can emulate for the rest of the world. So I think that's what I want to present. Maybe Rudi, you want to add a bit more on that? Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for your input. It was very interesting. Specifically your message that no one got affected in hotels. And I think this is such an important message you said, not only for Malaysia, and because it's true in almost every part of the world. The industry professionals like hotels, like airlines, are really for the most part operating in a very safe way. And this needs to be pointed out, I think, more and more and more, so people understand where the danger for the virus is. It's most likely not in the hotels. It's not really in the airlines. Thank you so much for your feedback. And I know we're over time, but this is an extremely interesting session. I'm so happy so many of you have so much to contribute. I wanted to just give a chance, if there's an important question for Datuk, to please raise your hand now before we go to the happy part of our session. Well, no further question. I think you said it all.
They're very clear.
But we're looking forward to maybe having an event in the future. I would have said just about Malaysia. We had one before, maybe doing another one on your region. It's an important region. The same what we offered to the Honorable Minister from Indonesia. And the ASEAN region altogether operates really as one destination. And now I think the chances are becoming even better and better to do things together instead of separately.
Maybe Jürgen, maybe I can
Sure.
add one more point in my presentation. Yeah, but I think this is just for our discussion. I think this is a time for everyone to go into technology. You know, I think before COVID-19, for example, like us, we have all these Team, Zoom and everything. But we, frankly speaking, we hardly use it because everything, you know, we can call, we can meet up, physical. Even when it comes to fair and exhibition, it's always physical fair, physical roadshow, physical seminar, physical presentation. But with COVID now, we have this kind of program that we can have. And even now, I can see a lot more webinars. You know, for myself, we get about 5 minimum webinars per day. So these are the things that I think that we have to get into data, as well as the platform where everybody can start selling their product online, tourism packages, things like that, especially domestic. I think these are the things that, you know, especially within ASEAN and the rest of the world need to look into. Thank you.
Yeah, it is definitely a time saver, and you can get more done in a shorter time period. These Zoom meetings, I think all of us, and I have to admit I'm one of them, a year ago, I didn't even know what Zoom was exactly. So now everyone in the world is talking on Zoom, and it becomes the new norm. It's never going to replace meetings. The meeting and the personal meeting is something what simply cannot be replaced. But a fast conversation, getting the world together in within half an hour notice, Zoom can do that. And that is needed really to proceed with a real business. So definitely you have a very important point there, Datuk.